Welcome to Living Multidimensionally, where we explore what it really means to be a soul having a human experience in a world that is far more magical, interconnected, and alive than we were ever taught to believe. I'm your host, Jillian, an Akashic Records channel, energy healer, and multidimensional guide. And this podcast is a space where we peel back the layers of the seen and unseen worlds. Here, we talk about the messy, beautiful, deeply human parts of life, and the moments that remind us we are ancient, infinite, and connected to something so much bigger. Here I explore with you and guide you through the many layers of the spiritual journey. At times, I'm joined by friends, teachers, healers, and fellow travelers of the spiritual path. People who live with one foot in the physical world and one foot in the energetic realms, as we dive into the modalities, experiences, past lives, initiations, and everyday magic that shape us. This is a space for curiosity, embodiment, remembrance, and real conversations about what it means to navigate life as a multi-dimensional being, with humor, depth, and a whole lot of soul. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's journey in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Living Multidimensionally. So today's episode is with someone who entered my life in one of those ways that feels deeply aligned and completely meant to happen. About a month ago, I joined a new community. The founder had mentioned that I should connect with a girl named Lily because she was incredible at creative design and could help me uplevel my Instagram and branding. Almost immediately after joining, Lily actually reached out to me herself because she was curious about energy healing. And honestly, it just felt like the moment we met was very divinely timed. We ended up exchanging services, and Lily has helped me to completely transform my social media presence. And truly, to say she is talented at what she does not feel does feel like an understatement. Lily has this incredible ability to see a vision clearly and bring it to life in a way that feels deeply intentional, artistic, and aligned. She's helped me to understand the power of having a cohesive brand in ways I had genuinely never considered before. She works so efficiently and moves through the creative process with an effortless flow that is really inspiring to witness. Lily is also currently traveling around the world. She was spending some time in Bali. She now is in Chicago, but I feel like she won't be there for long. There's something very beautiful about the way she moves through life that feels both free-spirited and also deeply intentional. What's also been so beautiful is that Lily has taken her Reiki training with me, and it's become obvious almost immediately that she was made for this kind of work. Since then, we've had so many deep conversations, and one of the things I love most about her is the way that she sees the world. She is an artist in the truest sense of the word, and the way she describes her human experience is so poetic and emotionally rich, and you can feel that she sees far beyond the surface of reality and far beyond the veils. I truly feel like she's only just getting started. I can't wait to witness where life takes her as she continues to combine the beauty of her artistic gifts with her natural healing abilities. And I can't wait to get into our chat today. So, welcome, Lily, to the podcast.
Hello. Oh my goodness, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited to have you here and pick each other's brains. And we have such good chats in the DMs. We're both like, we need to bring this to a podcast. Amazing. So, typically I just start off the podcast with a question and we flow from there. And so my first question for you is, can you share with the listeners who you are beyond the labels, the soul behind the work that you do?
Who am I beyond the labels? I I feel like even though artist is a label, it's just seeped into who I am so far that it's just the way that I see life and the way that I move.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything I do, everything I see it breathing and I see it creating.
Mm.
And I just love, I love love and I love creation and the way that the universe expresses itself through all these different forms, from like inanimate objects to people to animals to nature to the cosmic, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just love observing it, you
Ah,
know?
yes. Oh, so beautiful. It's like like you just described the feminine so beautifully. Like everything that has
Yeah.
been created, I love to see it and I love to see it be created. And so,
Hmm.
oh, I love that so much. And it's so true because everything does, like what did you say there? Like everything is living and breathing, even the
Hmm.
inanimate objects and whatever else. And one of the things I loved when we first talked that actually like hooked me in right away was when you were describing a personal brand as an egregore, as a living,
Hmm.
breathing thing, something that has a life of its own and has an essence of its own. And I've done a little bit of research about egregores since we spoke, and I think there's a negative portrayal of them a lot of times, but
Yeah.
I really don't think that they are inherently negative. You know, it's when well, maybe you can describe to us how you see an egregore because I loved the way you described it to me the first time.
Yeah. Well, an egregore, it simply just is like everything in life, it just is. And then we portray emotion and meaning onto it. But essentially, an egregore is a thought structure, an energetic structure that is held up by multiple minds.
Mm,
So, like politics, big egregore.
mm-hmm,
Uh, what else? Like religion, a family is an egregore in a way.
mm-hmm,
Everything like this, it's just such a common thing. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So when you're building a brand, treating it like an egregore not only shows you the energetic body of what you're building, but it also lets you take the brand off of you and realize that it's its own living thing. And
mm-hmm,
you can just let it exist and kind of run itself for you. It exists, go let it play, go let it run around into other people's minds. But the thing about egregores being so negatively approached, I think is a good place of discernment because often they are negatively built because they're unconsciously built.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And coming towards your brand, you need to be very conscious about what you're doing.
mm-hmm.
So that's how
Yes.
I see it.
So, so true and so cool. And it's interesting because even with the Akashic Records, you can go into the Akashic Records on behalf of your business because it has its own place in the Akashic Records
That's so cool.
because it is its own thing. And people talk about with astrology, what date was your business born on? Like look at the astrology of your business and
I haven't
what was
even thought of
happening
that.
in the stars. Yeah. And so with like it ties in perfectly with the thought of it being an egregore, and I definitely have seen those other more negative egregores play out. I like that you distinguish like the conscious and the unconscious. And I think even in that same breath, there probably are a lot of creators that do unconsciously, like even big names like what, Andrew Tate or whatever, like that is
Yeah.
for sure an egregore, like there's
Yes,
for
big time.
sure people that are like feeding into that and like, and
Hmm.
so I think, as with everything else, discernment is always important, but then choosing which communities and which brands you want to feed into and you want to resonate with and you want to work with, and like what they mean and what they stand behind, I think is so important for everybody that's either creating something or consuming something. It goes both ways. And also with the Akashic records, like we do so much work, or what has become so obvious to me is just how much of those unconscious programs are truly ruling a lot of our minds, or rules that we've made up for ourselves or that we were born into, that like no one ever told us those rules, but they are just there and they're existing, and we don't even
Yeah.
recognize that we're operating from them until a lot of times we do that deep work and get to the root of like, okay, I have this belief, why do I even believe this, like where did this even come
Yeah.
from, like is this even
Yeah.
mine? Yeah, so I don't know.
Hmm.
I love that. And it definitely is what drew me, because I would say I'm a little bit of like a hover mom over my business egregore. Like I haven't given the creative liberty to a lot of people besides myself, because I find, especially when you run a spiritual business, it can sometimes be more difficult to find people to work with that you actually really resonate with. And
Hmm.
it was like instantly working with you. I was just like, nope, yep. And it has not, it has proved true, like the way you do things and see things. And it is so feminine. But at the same time, even in your opening introduction saying like, I like to be the observer of all of this, it's like you
Hmm.
also have a very healed and elevated masculine in order to even be able to recognize the beauty in all of those things. So, yeah, I love that, just those points about what you said, and being a lover girl, because I'm a
Yeah.
lover girl as well. And so,
Yes, born and bred lover girl. Oh, you should see my chart. Like everything is in the seventh house. It's
wait, the seven,
crazy.
is that the
I
relationship
think
house?
so. I think so. I mean, I might be wrong. Let me pull it up actually.
I
But
have a stellium in my relationship house, whichever. I think it's the seventh. It's
I want to see your chart, honestly.
Yes, I have a stellium in there in the Western one. I'm not sure about I haven't, I just started getting into the Vedic astrology a little bit more, but
Hmm.
in the Western chart, I remember for the longest time I didn't fully understand it, and then just recently, actually working with you, and you were like, "Okay, let's make your mission." And then my mission came to me in the middle of the night, and it was all about relationships, and I was like, "Oh, oh, now that makes sense."
I'm gonna
Yeah.
send this to you.
Is this your
Tell
chart?
me I'm not meant to love.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is the same as
It's
me. That's
literally like an
so
arrow as
funny.
well. Like it's
An
pointing
arrow
right
right.
into it.
I'll have to like put a little like, or maybe you don't
The
want the whole
image.
world to see your chart, but
Actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't need people knowing everything about me.
Yes, yeah,
Just
you but
trust.
but
Trust
yeah,
that I am a
he's
love
telling the
girl.
truth. There is an arrow pointing with the like the lines pointing right at her seventh house. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, and I know we both like on the topic of lover girls and masculine and feminine, something that Lily and I both really wanted to chat about today was this whole, I guess you could call it an egregore that is
Yeah,
happening right now, with this like man hating energy.
the
And I
misandry. Yeah,
misandry, yes.
yeah,
And I think I'm excited for a shift. I know both genders have played their roles in creating the world to be what it is today. I was talking with my healer, a while ago now, and we were talking about the feminine, how the feminine has been repressed and has been abused and all this. And she said, but she did choose it. It was part of her journey. It was part of what
yeah,
she, the feminine, had to go through.
yeah,
And that was kind of like, I was like, oh, yeah, that, I mean, I see that. It's unfortunate that it had to go that way,
yeah.
um, but at the same breath, there are absolutely men that have earned that, like we see a lot of really bad stuff coming out right now anyways about these websites and whatever else. And I think a lot of women hop on that train of, well, like fuck men and like they're the worst and we should be scared of them and like all this stuff, but I have never felt that way. I have always
Hmm.
loved men, even if they've been terrible to me. I've had some men that have been terrible to me, and I still love them. And when I think of them,
Hmm.
I'm still grateful for them. And I know that a lot of them have been really wounded. And I mean, absolutely, everyone needs to take responsibility for ways they've caused harm and responsibility for their actions moving forward. But at the same time, who did they have to look up to? Like, it has not been, I can't think of a time in recent history where men have been masculine or allowed to be in their full masculine expression at all, either super numbed emotions or super absent in the house, or in more recent years made to believe that their masculinity is bad or wrong, or they shouldn't be, aggressive,
Hmm.
or they shouldn't be
Hmm.
like the leaders, like, or they shouldn't be, these kind of things. And I think as a man, what are you supposed to think when that's all you see everywhere? Like, I see all
Yeah.
these wonderful men in this community that you and I are in, especially, and like a couple other communities recently that are really stepping up and healing their hearts and getting in touch with their emotions and tapping into their creativity, but at the same time, learning how to be leaders, learning how to, have structure, learning how to be assertive. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like the men are waking up. The men are waking up.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that in our community. We have such a beautiful little hub building. And on that note, it's so interesting because these men, right, they are taught to hide their masculinity, quote unquote.
Mhm.
But really, what they are perceiving as masculine is the absence of masculinity. True masculinity, divine masculinity, honors and protects and is strong and is assertive and is aggressive, but not to the point where it's driven by this primal sense of destruction,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
Yes.
And being able to have an outlet for both sides, the masculine and the feminine, where they are creating, but they're also building and they're uh, leading,
Mhm.
is so important because if they're just going one way of like, oh, I have to heal my masculine, and then in order to heal the masculine, you need to integrate the feminine. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, regardless of gender, you need to work
Yeah,
with both. Like, in order to
yeah.
be in your feminine, this is one thing that has really became clear for me in the last few years, working mainly with women. And I've taken a lot of different, feminine energy healing classes and whatnot, and courses and communities. And a lot of times there is this underlying tone of like, we hate men, like this
Mhm.
underlying tone. It's not spoken a lot of times,
Mhm.
but there's like this, like, women are the be all and the end all. And like, yeah, women are incredible and amazing. Like, I'm not a woman hater either. I love women. Like,
Yeah.
women created everything. But
Mhm.
like, we also need men. And I loved what you said about what they perceive as masculinity is the absence of it. I saw a quote recently that said, the only thing toxic about masculinity is the absence of it. And it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
yeah, we just haven't seen real masculinity. If the world was run by real masculine men, the world would
Mhm.
look a lot different. Like,
Yeah.
we would feel
Yeah.
safe. We would be safe. Like, all,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, all these unsafe scenarios that we're seeing happening, it's not because men suck and men are the worst. And I think to lump them all together is really unfair because there are a
Mhm.
lot of amazing men. And, the same goes for women. There are a lot of amazing women, and there are also women who are wounded and aren't putting on a great show for us women either. Um,
Mhm.
and so I think that I don't know about you with because if you're a lover girl, that means you love, you love men and that
Hmm.
as well. But on my healing journey, I had to like really seek out what is a masculine man? Like, what do I want? Because my dad, love him to death, but not the best example. Like he has some great qualities, amazing, like for sure, but in some ways, like with like certain areas, he lacked those things. And so I was seeking out, just like we all do, versions of our parents because we're seeking love and protection, those two things that we're supposed to, in a perfect world, get from our parents. And
Hmm.
if we didn't receive that perfectly, which pretty much no one has received that perfectly and not by any fault of our parents, then we don't seek out the healthiest versions of it. So I had to like do a lot of my own investigating about, okay, so what even is a healthy masculine man? Like what should I be looking for in a man?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think I'm hoping that the tides are changing, and especially being in these new communities, I really see that like with my own
Hmm.
eyes. Like every man in
Hmm.
there is talking about integrating his feminine and how important it is to live
Yeah,
from your heart, and they're all
yeah.
like 25 and I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
here we go. If you're already this with it, like woo, we got a good
yeah.
generation coming up next.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting too because I work very closely with a man,
Hmm.
and he's even asking me about my cycle, and he realizes the power that I bring just from my divine feminine
Hmm.
and my tastes and my artistic skills.
Hmm.
And he's not expecting me to work every day the way that he does.
Hmm.
And he's actually trying to understand my flow.
Yeah.
And when I first had that conversation with him, I was actually shocked. I was like, wow, like I could feel my heart melting, like I'm being seen actually for the first time in a workplace. And it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and I know like if you want to speak on like the safety that you felt, because I feel like safety is something we talk about so much. Like you got to
Mhm.
feel safe. Your nervous system has to feel safe. Safety,
Yeah.
safety, safety. But most people have never felt true safety before. And you don't
Hmm.
really know that you haven't felt it until you feel it. And you're like, wait,
Yeah.
this is what safety feels like? Like,
Yeah.
oh. And so I don't know if you want to speak on like the shift maybe that has happened like within
Hmm.
you or within like, we often tie safety with like abundance, like if there's been
Hmm.
anything that has shifted there for you.
Definitely. One big thing is just being seen with my worth,
Hmm.
at my worth, has been incredibly freeing in the moment to moment because I'm no longer like measuring my worth with the amount of effort I put in with times the time that I put in.
Hmm.
It's just like very non-linear now.
Hmm.
And as a woman, your cycle is very non-linear.
Yes.
And your creativity especially is non-linear because some days I will sit down and I will work 12 hours happily,
Hmm.
like back to back projects. But other days I'm struggling to even finish one task.
Hmm.
And it's just a matter of where I'm at creatively, spiritually, and him being able to recognize that lets me rest in that, knowing that I'm still being seen and I'm still having my worth noted, even though it's not as present right now.
Hmm. And you are still worthy, like that internal
Hmm.
sense of worthiness, because
Yeah.
It's one thing to have your worth reflected back to you, but that is also a testament about the inner shift with your worthiness that has happened and to have that like be felt. And I think that's such a great example of true worthiness because we are not worthy because of how much we do, how much we create, how much we put out. Like we are worthy because we exist, because of who we
Hmm.
are, and because of who we are in the moments when we're creating, but also who we are in the moments we're resting. And one doesn't cancel out the other. And I think I loved what you said about, the days when you have like 1 hour of productivity versus 12. It doesn't change how you feel about your worthiness because now you just trust more deeply that you are worthy because of this being held and this safety and this reflection that you receive from a man with an open heart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that like the two of you have a friendship and a business collaboration, but that is also what happens in romantic relationships is these
Hmm.
two energies come together where like I would imagine he gets the same satisfaction, that's not really the right word, but the same like whole feeling when he is able to see you and like recognize the shifts that his safety provides for you. It probably also brings him deeper into that masculine energy in that container.
Yeah, I was just about to say that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Hmm.
beautiful how the two energies play off each other, play into each other, mirror each
It's
other.
such a beautiful dance. It really is.
Yeah, oh, I love it so much. And it's seen in the community. We will put the notes for the community in the chat here if because we've been talking about it a lot. We're in it together. That's where we met. But if this is something that you feel drawn to where you're like, what the heck community are they talking about? We'll include it in the notes so you can check it out.
Hmm.
But it really to me is this what I feel, I remember I attended the first call, and I was so lit up after. I was just like wide awake. It was nighttime here, and I was like wired because I was like, whoa, this is like to me the manifestation of what I envision and feel the new earth to be, and like what I've been working
Mm.
towards, and how I wish for everyone to be able to show up. I'm seeing it happen for the first time really in this community because there are so many different people with so many different backgrounds and gifts and like not everyone is a healer, whereas in like my communities before we're all similar, we're all healers, we're all in the spiritual journey together, and it's very similar. But in this community, it's creators, it's artists, it's coaches, yes, healers, yes, but all people who are living in their purpose. And that
Yeah.
is what I envision the new earth to be, is a place
Yeah.
where humans are living authentically and receiving for being authentic and sharing gifts and sharing, inspiration. And it's this like collaborative existence, and it's everyone is receiving and everyone is authentic and everyone is able to travel the world. Also, they're not bound to one location. And I think
Yeah.
that is like, that is to me what is coming for us. And so to see it
Hmm.
like manifest, I just was like, whoa, like this is so much bigger than I thought. I didn't know that this was existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been such a blessing to help with this project, honestly. I'm so grateful to be here.
Hmm.
And it's just already brought so much abundance into my life, working on something so light, so
Hmm.
headed towards the right direction. It's propelled my life incredibly. And the amount of people I've met that are just, on this path. And the beauty I love about this community, like you mentioned, is that everyone is living their purpose. It's all different. It's almost like becoming a microcosm of the creator economy
Mm-hmm.
where people are actually helping each other. Like I have people coming to me for work. I'm going to people to help me with things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like everyone's working at their strengths and using their gifts instead of just suppressing it to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's an actual energetic exchange that is valued both sides.
Yes, 100%. And like this is people everywhere because you don't have to even be a creator in that sense, like of having an online business. Like if
Yeah.
you're a esthetician and that's what you love, if you're a
Yeah.
builder or like a what do they call those people? Why can't I think of the word? You're fixing houses or you're fixing plumbing or
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
trades, like all these different people have roles. It's just like finding what is best for you and
Hmm.
putting your energy into that and following your heart. And I think that's what's been missing in, a lot of money making, like people trying to make money because that's what we need down here to survive. But at the
Yeah.
same time, making money, earning money, receiving money in a way that feels good to you, that lights you up, not because you're selling your soul to the man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's exciting to be what I feel is the forefront of what's coming into this planet more and more. And the more of us that do it, that wake up, that own it, that
Yeah.
live it, the more of us that
Hmm.
can. Yeah, another
It,
thing. Oh, sorry. What were you
I was just gonna say, like, it's just like a matter of which egregore do you want to feed?
Yeah,
The
100%.
old one or the new one?
100%. And staying on that track of like the world is not going to shit. The world is actually just
It's going
upgrading.
upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're leaving the dark night of the soul now, but like
Hmm.
I see it on a collective level as like our collective consciousness here on earth as one being. And if we're all one being, like cells of this collective,
Hmm.
we go through a transformation the same way an individual human would. And so we have to go through and dig up all the crap and all the bad stuff to be seen, to be brought to the light, to be transmuted and alchemized as a collective in order to get to that next level of our existence. And
Hmm.
that's how I have always viewed this time that we're in, this interesting time, rather than feeding into like the fear or those other emotions. It's like, no, this is just part of the process and
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all gonna be okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. And at
Yeah.
the same
Zooming out.
time, feeling the crappy emotions that you need to feel, that is also part of the process. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I love another thing that you and I have talked about um, in the DMs is this whole idea of it like a video game.
Ah, it's literally how I see life. I love it.
Yes, tell us more.
It's a core part of my philosophy now. Just being in that frequency of play,
Hmm.
right? When I play a video game, like when I was younger, I mean, I still play video games now sometimes, but especially when I was younger, you go into a video game and the mindset that you have when you're playing a video game is so different to what you just subconsciously do in real life because you actually go towards the friction because that is what the game is about, is overcoming friction.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, if you just won, if you just opened up the game and it said you win, like what's the point? Right?
Hmm.
The whole point of this journey is to go and overcome. But then also I love the aspect of like skill stacking, skill trees, figuring out like the meta of a problem and just noticing that you can restart, you can press restart on a mission and it's not over until you're dead. Unless, you believe in reincarnation, which I do. But this human experience, this video game, your character
Hmm.
has a journey and it can be fun. It doesn't have to be this serious thing. Like now when I sit down and I do work, before I would just be like, okay, what do I have to do? I just need to get it done. Now it's like, okay, this is a task I have on my um what's it called? Your like objectives, right? I even when I'm doing things and when I think about myself, I imagine this like skill screen of my
Hmm.
character, breaking myself down. What am I good at? Where can I apply these things to make money or to help people? It just opens up your heart to living again and actually playing this human experience. It's like the whole thing about when you become enlightened, you know, before you're chopping the wood and carrying the water, and after you're enlightened, you're chopping the wood and carrying the water. It's just a matter of are you enjoying the game or not?
Totally, 100%. I love that. And even before you had talked about the video game, to me, the way I saw it was like a board game, which because I never really played video games.
Interesting.
Hearing your
Yeah.
video game, I'm like, oh yes, no, I love this. But I was thinking of it the same way when I sat down to do my own solo episode. I asked myself the same question about the soul behind the work I do. And I was thinking about it before I went into the recording. I was like, okay, like, why am I here? Like, what do I like? Why? And like, what makes this place fun? Why would I want to be here? And it was exactly that. It was like, okay, because my soul wanted the challenge, wanted to try
Mhm.
it out. Like, Earth is one of the most challenging places to be as a soul and like wanted to win the game, like figure out the hacks, figure out figure out
Yeah.
the way the energy works to like get to the goal. For me it was like the most efficient, and that's one
Yeah.
thing I learned in my human design chart is like I'm naturally a problem solver. And it once I learned that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like when one of my clients or myself has a problem, I'm like, okay, how do we solve this problem? Like I don't wallow
Hmm.
in it, or I'm like, okay, there's an issue. It means it can be fixed. Now, how do we get there?
Yeah.
And I think that had its pros and cons along my journey because I did have that whole gotta fix myself mentality for a while. And then when
Yeah.
I kind of shifted more into surrender and really connected with God, my higher self, where my limited ego, she only knows so much.
Hmm.
Then is when I leaned into more, I'm doing my best. And so I can't know everything. Um, but the essence of it being a game and having fun, I think, is so important. And I think is what's missing for a lot of people. And another thing that I was thinking while you were talking is like designing your character in the game. You get to like design, and I
Yeah.
think
It's one
you
of my favorite parts.
yeah, like that's what you do. Like when we were designing my branding and everything, she's like, you have an Athena vibe, and like pulled up some
Yeah.
Athena images, and that's been in my mind when I record things, or like I'm like, okay, like who is this character? And really, Jillian, Lily, like we are just a character in this
Yeah.
life. Like that's not who we really are. That's not our soul. That's
Yeah.
who we are in this life that has come down here to play the game. And so, and like the one that's having the interactions and meeting people and all of these things, like she's important too. Not something you don't want to get rid of your ego. You want to transform your ego into whatever you want her to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I write about this a lot in my articles is about the ego being a tool, and it's not something we should be bypassing because especially in the spiritual community, there is such a big thing about transcending your humanity
Hmm. Hmm.
because I mean it's understandable because there's this infinitely larger part of us that we tap into
Hmm.
and are shut off from right now. But once you start connecting to it, there's just so much beauty in it and infinite capacity, and you just want to go there. But at the end of the day, you're going to keep coming down until you finish what you're doing here.
Yeah,
And
totally.
you
And
just gotta befriend it, you know?
yes, and you can have both. Like I
Yeah.
noticed that the way because I view pretty much everything through the chakras, and those are our energy centers, and when the energy is flowing we are more in alignment with our authentic self, but not everyone's upper chakras are flowing, so not everyone
Hmm.
even has the ability to notice that there is something bigger than us, and let alone tap into it and work with it and embody it. And I think as we release more of the stuff that isn't us and we let go of like the trauma and the conditioning and all of these things, our consciousness actually elevates to be able to see the world in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And part of that, for me, anyways, sometimes I shift into this state where it's almost like I'm watching me. Like I'm
Oh yeah.
watching Jillian do the things, and I'm like, oh, look at Jillian. She's so cute. Like, like, oh,
Exactly it. That's exactly it. Yes.
yeah, like Jillian just, oh, she's having fun today. Like, oh, she's going for a glass of wine, and it's like so
Yeah.
different than this, like, I have to be perfect. I have to like be
Mhm.
spiritual. I have to do things right if I want to be in the 5D, which is like,
That's just the spiritual ego.
oh, it is. It's another one of my pet
Yeah.
peeves. They always say like someone who's in the 5D isn't going to proclaim it to you, and like it's just it's so true. Like when you I often think the most spiritual people are the ones who appear the least spiritual because they've like you said,
Yeah. I've
chopping the
noticed
wood.
that.
Yeah, it's like the chopping the wood in the water and the chopping the wood in the water. It's like the people who are actually kind of got it figured out more or less, they're enjoying the mundane things, the human things, the little things because it's like, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
here on this
It's
planet.
so rich.
Like I
Yeah.
want to enjoy it. Where I come
Mhm.
from, there's no trees. Like I'm gonna look at the tree in
Yeah.
awe.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm. I love the perspective of having that duality of being yourself here, but also watching yourself. It's that's like to me what it feels like to love yourself because when you're in that separated state, you can't help but feel love because
100%.
you're just vibrating higher. This part of you is vibrating higher, which is closer to, God, unconditional love. When you're looking down at yourself, it's just like you don't need anything else because
So
you
true.
have you have this character right here. You get to curate this character to your needs and to your wants, to your desires. You get to make them do what they want to do, but also what they don't want to do because it's better for them. Like it's just such an incredible experience, honestly.
Yeah, it's so true. Yes, yes, yes. And I think self-love, like once you truly love yourself, it's so different. And I love that making that distinguishment because I do that even with like my inner child or my inner teen
Yeah,
or my masculine and my feminine. Like I
yeah,
when I start having those conversations with myself, because I talk to myself a lot,
hmm
it's like there's two of me.
yeah,
There's the conscious, maybe higher conscious me, and then there's whatever part I'm working with. And so I see, I'm
mm-hmm.
feeling really emotional that day or whatever, and I go, okay, what part of me is this? And if it's my inner child, I'm like, okay, because I've done work to get to know her, I'm like, what do you need? What's going to support you? Like, how can I hold you? And I have these back and forth conversations with those aspects of me. And like the aspect that's kind of doing the holding is what I see as my healed masculine who's able
hmm
to hold those different components and give her what she needs.
Absolutely. And I
Hmm.
love that compartmentalization of the parts of the self because really day to day you are not the same person.
Hmm.
The way that we are, the ego is so fluid,
Hmm.
and like one day, like minute to minute even, it's like 1 minute you're chilling, the next minute you have this extreme high or extreme low, and that brings out a different part of you that comes to the forefront. And you really are just this amalgamation of things. And like who are you? Like what is you? What is me? What is the I? It really is so unconcrete, fluid, like like the vessel that you are, the consciousness that you are, doesn't even just hold you, because there's like the collective consciousness and there's other things, spirits, like so much. You can hold so much, and if you aren't aware, you're just going to assume it's you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's why I feel like a lot of people are so hard on themselves, because there will be things that come into your field that aren't you, and they'll make you do crazy shit that you wouldn't expect yourself to do, and then you hate on yourself. But it's like, really, what are you identifying with?
100%. Yes. Something last summer, I was doing a lot of Joe Dispenza. I found this one that I liked, and I'm very much, I
Yeah.
don't usually stick with a routine or structure for long. I stick with it as long as it's serving me, and then I do
Yeah.
the next thing that's serving me. And so there was about a month where I was like, I like this. And how it was elevating my perspective of like everything you just said. You said it so beautifully, but almost like when I tap into that part of me, it's like I step back and I kind of like look at it all. And if you think about consciousness, you like I when I think of the I, it's the observer of everything. Like what I'm the
Yeah.
one who's doing the observing of all the other parts. And
Mhm.
then I sort of step back and look at it all. But if you step back far enough, and this is where the energetic layers come into play, it's like, okay, if you just step back a bit, you're looking at like you in the 3D, the first three layers, your human self. If you step back a bit more, you get to like tap into like the astral. If you step back a bit more, you're going into like the higher collective. And so the further back you sort of like look, then you see the quantum, really. Like you see the possibilities, you see the angels, you see these other aspects. And I think meditation and reflection and alone time is so important for those of us on the journey because just like you said, if you don't get to know all the parts and what they sound like and who they are and how they feel, then you'd think everything is you. Like you, yeah, you
Yeah.
I couldn't have said that better than myself, but there's so much more than just you that you are interacting with, and you're also interacting with all of you. You're interacting with your all your past self as well as all your future self, like right here
Yeah.
in the present. And so there's just yeah, I was gonna say something else in there and it came in twice and then it's gone out twice. But yeah, just I loved that description of this witness of all these parts because it really changes everything when you can have a relationship with all the different parts of you instead of being a judge of them.
Yeah. And no one wants to be you all the time, you
No.
know? So
And the
don't do
way
that to yourself.
no. And the way that I now heal is like every time something comes up that maybe I don't like, the question I ask is, how can I love this? Like,
Yes,
I know there's
exactly.
an angle of love here because in my perspective, everything is love.
Hmm.
I read a pamphlet once that a shaman had somehow found its way to me from a shaman, and it talks in like very quick sentences, but it was only love is real, only love creates. And it's like, okay, you can read those words, but like, what do those words actually mean? Like, everything is an expression of love, whether
Hmm.
it's an expression of outward love, like, yeah, I love this, or an expression of, I didn't get this love, so I'm projecting this, or an expression of like, I deserve this love, so I'm going to try and get it. It all comes from love or the need to feel love and be love. And so when there's a part of me that I don't understand or don't really like or whatever else, I ask, okay, so where is the love in this? Or like, what are you trying to protect me from? Or what, like, how are you trying to protect my heart right now? Because our ego, that's all it's ever trying to do. It's not trying to cause us harm. It's trying to keep us safe in the way that it knows how.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it really is like, because part of me is the old conditioning. Whenever I hear like everything is love, everything is light, part of me cringes. But at the same time, it's like that is just what everything is. Like there's no morality on it until you project onto it.
Hmm.
So if you really understand that everything is just love, everything is just energy, everything is trying to come to this higher state of vibration, everything trickles down from that. Like hate is just sour love. It's the polarity, but it's still the same pole,
Yes, that's one of my
you
favorite. I
know?
say that all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even the darkness. Like we get so stuck
Hmm.
in this duality, and it's true. Yes, we're on Earth, so yes,
Hmm.
there is duality. That is true. But do we have to hate on the duality or hate on the darkness, or can we just witness it and understand, yeah, this is part of we can't have one without the other. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we have to feel unpleasant things, or we come across unpleasant people or entities or whatever it may be, but it all exists if you go out far enough in a perfect ecosystem. And so it's not avoiding the dark to say, oh yeah, well it's just light. It's like going into the dark because you're not afraid because you know that there's something there for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the yin that shapes the yang and the yang that shapes the yin. And the way I see it is like friction, there's like friction and there's flow, there's structure and there's entropy. And it's that dance between that two that shapes this human experience.
Hmm.
Like, especially when you feel in your energy field, when you feel a friction, that is the wall of your identity. And when you
Hmm.
push through that friction, you are literally molding yourself into a new person, whether that's good or a bad thing. It depends on what you're doing and how you
Hmm.
perceive it. But you can't be who you are without the darkness. And it's so easy to hide away from the shadow, but the shadow is the container of the light in a way.
Hmm. Hmm. Saw there was a psychic, what did he say? It's like you can't, if it's all just light, you can't see anything. Like you have to have the
Yes.
dark in order to be able to see the light, even if
Yeah.
there you can't have one without the other. And
Mhm.
even the hard stuff shapes you into ultimately more of your power, your inner power, your truth, who you are.
Mhm.
Like you said, if you turn on the game and it says you won, like
What's the
what
point?
happened here? What's the
Yeah.
point? Exactly. And
Mhm.
there what another thing that helps me in these, because I know different people with different levels of awareness, like, okay, well, what about bad people on this planet right now? Yes, but chances are you were a bad person in a different life. Chances are you used your gifts for maybe bad in another life. Like when we only think there's just this one life, it's easy to get stuck in that idea of good, bad, right, wrong. But when you
Mhm.
understand all your past lives, all your future lives, like it's ongoing. You have existed other places before. You've done
Mhm.
it's not there is no death in the soul, right? Like only
Yeah.
through our ego and our human experience there is death, but we all fluctuate up and down on that line. And some people's roles in this life is to be the bad guy. Like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
they're meant to do in this life, to inspire the good guy or to get the good like guy to step up or whatever.
Mhm. Practice forgiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah. And that also ties back to the masculine feminine thing we were talking about earlier, is that yes, there are bad men out here, but especially as the feminine right now is a little more integrated and a little more, I feel like, advanced spiritually than the collective masculine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I remember having a conversation with my friend and she was just like complaining about men, and I'm like, about like how like they're just like so unconscious, and I'm like, yes, that may be true in this case, but you're just feeding into that pain.
Mm-hmm.
You're just feeding into their abuse. And I know it's annoying to have to be the better person, the bigger person in a situation, but that's the only way we get out of this karmic loop, is if you
100%.
recognize that this person is likely, definitely just projecting and is unconscious, how can you be mad at that at the end of the day? You know?
It's so true. It's so true. And like one thing that I like every time you fight against something, you simultaneously are creating more of that thing. Like
Exactly.
anytime you are saying, yeah, men suck, blah, blah, whatever, you are creating more of
More
that.
fucking men, yeah.
Yeah, and so like there is a responsibility that comes into play, and I think, this is the shadow feminine in a way,
Yeah.
is this victim mentality
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
like wanting to be saved, wanting to be the victim, and that is a
Mm-hmm.
hard pill to swallow, is like, because sometimes you need to feel like the victim. Sometimes you have to let yourself and feel, poor me, why God? Like my one of my favorite
Yeah.
practices that I tell my clients is like write a hate letter to God. You're not going to go to hell. You're not going to burst into flames. You have some emotion in there and you need to get it out. So write it.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever. Because when we're hanging on to that energy, it's living in us and so we're perpetuating it. And so if you feel like a victim, let yourself feel it, go into it and then let it go
Mm-hmm.
because we have to take responsibility. When you know better, you have to do better. And so if you are letting yourself be a victim, you're going to continue to be a victim.
Yeah.
But once take, okay, I see this, I understand this, I can see why this is happening or what these people might have been going through. And I'm not going to like harbor that and hang on to that and like have that false sense of power from it because that's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. Just like we have false safety, it's false power. That's why I think a lot of people hang on to the victim because it gives them this sense of power. But really the power
Yeah.
comes from being responsible enough to do better when you see better, even if, yeah, it sucks to always be the bigger person and like go cry about it. And I'm not saying that in like
Yeah.
but like actually
Yeah.
go cry
Dismissive
about
way.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like go feel that. If what we're saying pisses you off, good. Feel
Feel
that.
that.
Like
It's
let it
showing you something.
exactly.
It's data. It's important data.
Yeah, and it's important to feel all of the full spectrum and let it out and then not stay there. Like that is the only
Yeah.
way we can move to forgiveness is through the feeling of those other feelings. Then we come to the place where we can have forgiveness. And this comes with others, but this also comes with yourself because like you said, yeah, some people are unconscious. There are times when we've been unconscious. There are times when we've
Yeah.
made mistakes. And if we hold on to that and think, oh, we should have done better, and shame, right? Because shame's an uncomfortable emotion to feel. But if we hold on to that and make up stories or whatever else, instead of just like going into it and being like, yeah, that sucked. I wish I didn't do that. That felt gross. Feel it. Then we understand, oh, yeah, we're just learning. We're just innocent. All of us are born here with amnesia. All of us are just going
Yeah.
based off the reality that we've been shown with the parents we had, the situations we had, with our protective mechanisms. And I always tell people, think of that person you hate like a little baby. Like,
Yeah.
picture them as a baby because they were a baby once. And then they lived a life that created them into who they are. Not everyone turns their pain into power. Some people protect themselves in a different way. And it's not our job to like suck up, like, oh, poor you. Like we also have the responsibility of this person is harming me. I need to like put a boundary down
Mm-hmm.
because that is our responsibility.
Mm-hmm. And then that shapes them, and then that might wake them up.
Hmm.
It's our interactions, and it's because that person on some level is still you. You creating that boundary with them is going to do something internally in your subconscious.
It's like one of the biggest people pleaser lessons is like when you let someone else walk all over you, you are doing a disservice to them. Like you are
Yeah.
actually keeping them from what they came here to learn. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to put a boundary down for yourself when you need to. You have to
Mm-hmm.
stand up for yourself. You have to whatever because that is actually what's going to teach them the most. So if you really are a people pleaser and you really do care about everyone and love everyone, that is the most loving thing you can do, actually.
Yeah.
It's a hard
Mm-hmm.
one. It's a hard one. It's deeply
Yeah.
ingrained in a lot of us, but But that wake up is sure something, and it feels good, and it creates that inner safety and everything. You're when you feel safe and when all parts of you feel safe, the whole world shifts.
Hmm. It's beautiful.
Yes, amazing. Well, I feel like that is a great spot to start to wrap things up. I don't know if you had any final thoughts or sentiments.
Um, no, just that I love you and I love whoever's listening.
Yes, and I love you too. And this was so fun. I loved everything we talked about. We went deep. And yeah, for anyone who's listening, we will both include our information so you know where to find us. And please
Yes.
feel free to reach out. We're always both open
Yes,
to having
absolutely.
conversations, meeting new people. And yeah, I hope you, Lily, and everyone listening has a great rest of their day and everything happens for the highest good. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If something in this episode resonated, let it land. You don't need to understand it all right now. Integration happens in its own time. You'll find ways to connect and explore working together in the show notes, and you're always welcome to reach out if you feel ready to go deeper. Remember, you don't have to transcend your humanity to be spiritual. Your lived experience is the initiation. Until next time, stay curious, stay embodied, and keep living multidimensionally. May your days play out for the highest good. Namaste.